Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Adam here with Bra We Got This, and today I want to bring you guys my ultimate leveling 1 through 50 guide. So, in this guide today, I'm going to talk to you about a lot of different things that involves leveling to 50 in ESO. So, if you're new, I'm going to cover a ton of stuff here. We're going to cover what enhancements you can use to buff your experience gained. We're going to cover how you can set up your skills on your skill bar to where you can get the most out of each skill when you turn in a quest or you get an experience buff or whatever. We're going to talk about what gear to wear for leveling and what is the best type of gear with the best traits. We're going to talk about leveling effectiveness and how you can improve each day by doing certain activities that will give you loads of XP. And we're going to talk about where to level, how to level, and we're going to show you where you can allot your skill points and how to do that and the most beneficial areas to allot your skill points. Now, there's going to be, like I said, methods shown here of places you can level from 1 to 50. Some of them are going to be faster, some of them are going to be slower. But again, this guide is meant to basically encompass all that is leveling in ESO when it comes to 1 to 50. When you get to champion point level, it becomes a little different. There's other methods, and there could be other various ways that you level. But again, for the new player, I hope this guide will show you basically all the basics and get you prepared to be fully prepared to level to 50 in the most efficient and fun way possible for you. Also, to note, there will be timestamps in this video because this video is going to be long. So if you want to skip to certain parts, I will have that in the description below. And last thing before we get into it, if you want to join my guild in game, we're called the Necro Daddies. I know that name is interesting, but we love it. But you can join that guild. You can join my Discord, and I'll put a link to that in the description. But we will always try to help you as best we can. So if you're a new player, you're totally welcome to join those things. So let's get into it. To start off, let's talk about the buffs that you can consume that will allow you to get additional or faster experience. The most basic thing is crown experience scrolls. These scrolls can be found in daily rewards, and they will be given to you just from leveling up, from the level up helper, as I like to call it. More on that in a second. You can also buy these in the crown store if you want as well. These range from 50% to 100% to 150% experience bonus added to your activity or your killing things. If you make multiple characters, you will collect tons of these scrolls. It's kind of insane. Once you make multiple characters, you'll see that you can just get a ton of these, and it's kind of wild. Now, let's move on to the ambrosia buffs. You may have seen these in the chat or gotten fragments by doing crafting writs, or maybe even just at the master crafter merchant guy that sells them in your home zone. He sells like certain recipes for this. There are 3 ambrosias. One is just called Sigic Ambrosia, which is a 50% experience bonus. The next one is Ethereal Ambrosia, however you say that. It is a 100% experience bonus. And the last one is Mythic Ethereal Ambrosia. This recipe is very expensive and it costs a decent amount to make, but it is a whopping 150% experience for 30 minutes. So you have to think about that. You can basically, if you have the recipe and you have the money to make it, you can just get 150% added experience at any time that you want after each 30 minutes. And that's pretty insane, but you will have to pay for that. The next thing that can add experience to your already added bonuses is the Pledge of Mara. This is a 10% bonus to experience if you have this active. Basically, you marry someone in game and each of you get this bonus, or you can buy this in the store as well and consume it there. Also note that you have to be online together to get this bonus. Another bonus you can get is grouping with another player in general. You will get another 10% experience bonus just from that. So if you have any friends or if you join a guild, there'll be plenty of people that would want to group up if you want to get that bonus. Also, again, you can join my guild. We are on PCNA, and you can always play with us in the game, and we will be glad to level with you. Just let us know. You also have the Alliance Warkeep bonus, which is active in PvP or Cyrodiil. I don't do much here, but it's something to note. It's 5%, so if you're in PvP or Cyrodiil, you can get that. A very small bonus, and I mean a very small bonus, is if you are Altmer or High Elf, You get a racial passive bonus of 1% extra XP from your highborn skill. It's 1%, but hey, it's still 1%, I guess, so just letting you know that. Then you have the holiday event foods or buffs that give you added experience during those events, like the mead from New Life Festival, Mid-Year Mayhem Scrolls, Anniversary Jubilee Cake, and Jester's Festival Pie. Do note, however, that experience scrolls and ambrosias do not stack together, but you can stack ambrosias or crown experience scrolls with the food and drink buffs of the holiday events. But again, the holiday events are not active 24/7. It's only during the actual event you get those buffs when you drink those drinks or food. Another bonus you can get is the ESO Plus member bonus of 10%. This is something that I cover in my guide for ESO Plus. If you haven't seen that, you can go and watch that in the channel, but it gives you a 10% bonus to experience if you're an ESO Plus member. The last thing about bonuses is the training gear bonus. This is something that will give you a good bit of bonus to your experience gained. There's a trait called training that can be put on all your gear except for jewelry that will add a total of 70% additional experience bonus to kills if you have all your pieces of armor with the training trait on it. And then you can also put 8% of training experience on your weapons as well. So it can give you a total percent of 78% of extra experience bonus when killing things, not just like turning in things, but only killing things. This is a huge bonus and I recommend it. So if you're in a guild, you can usually get someone to craft this training armor for you. If you're not, like I said, I can help you craft it, and many other people in the world can help you craft this gear for you. We're going to talk about what you should craft with this here in a moment, but if you total up all that experience added, at the end, the total amount that you can have if you have the holiday buff active, now again, that's only active during the events, you can have a total of 358% experience bonus added to kills and turning in quests. That is the max, and that is an insane bonus, and that is something to look out for when the holidays are actually active, but it's lower than that when the holidays aren't active, but it's still a lot. So that is a huge difference if you want to level to 50 quick, or if you just want to level faster than normal, you can get a massive bonus from these bonuses. Now let's get into the gear that you should wear. I just briefly talked about the training gear. So when you make or have training gear made for you, you have a lot of options when it comes to rarity of this gear and the levels of the gear. So you may be wondering, do I make gear every 10 levels, or do I only make one set to 50? So that's a question that I see a lot of, and the answer is only make 2 sets of training gear for your character. One set at level 4, green to blue rarity. I like personally making blue rarity gear over green, but that's up to you. The other set can come at level 16 or like level 24-ish area. Again, that's up to you. The reason being that you only need 2 sets is because as you level, things will scale to you, so the armor and weapons you have aren't going to make a huge difference with leveling with 25 gear versus level 40 gear. Now, for the group of you that aren't going to buy training sets, you should make 5 pieces of the dominant armor type that you need to level in your class. So for instance, if you are a stamina character, then you will need probably about 5 pieces of medium armor. And if you're a magicka, you will probably need about 5 pieces of light armor. The other 2 pieces need to be split between the other 2 types of gear that isn't your dominant skill. So if you make 5 pieces of medium armor, then make 1 piece of light armor and 1 piece of heavy armor. The reason being is because when you level this will level all of your armor skills at the same time, which some people don't know. Because in the end game, you'll most likely need to wear 1 or 2 pieces of off dominant armor. Sometimes that's not the case, but in other times it is. So if you want to min-max your stats, then you want it to be leveled so you can get the passives of, say, the heavy armor if you have to wear like a heavy helmet, but you're mainly medium armor focused. Also, again, you can decide if you want to improve your armor to blue or not, but I recommend it because it will have a better armor value and give you more stats that can help a little bit with sustain, such as, or for example, as not running out of magicka or stamina as quickly. Also, for that section that I just covered, if you are buying your training armor, you still want to try to buy 5 pieces of medium or light and then buy a heavy or light piece as well. I'm just saying for people that craft it, keep that in mind. Also, again, make sure to put the training tray on the armor and weapons as well. Make sure to make 2 sets of weapons after level 15 because that is when you get your weapon swap and you can carry 2 weapons at once. Now, let's talk about how to set up your bar and about leveling your skill trees effectively and things that a lot of beginners don't know. I probably will make an updated beginner guide eventually. I made one 4 years ago, but it probably needs to be updated. Also, guys, if you have any suggestions or want me to cover a topic or guide specifically, make sure to leave a comment and let me know. So you are only allowed 5 skills on one bar and 1 ultimate until level 15. Then at level 15, you get another weapon and another skill bar to throw skills on. So when you kill things or when you turn in quests, whatever skills you have on your bar at the time is what the experience points will go into. So for instance, if you have a bow skill on your back bar that's not active, when you kill or turn a quest in, it will not get leveled. Many people do not know this. So I hope this helps you because you can make it to where if you have a skill that really needs leveling, then right before you turn in a quest, flip to the bar that skill is on and it will get leveled. In my opinion, the best way to set up your skill bar is to put at least 1 skill of each of the 3 trees of your class on your front skill bar and the back skill bar if possible. That way, when you level, you at least are leveling all 3 of your skills because even if the build you're going for doesn't use any skills from a tree or minimal skills from it, it is still useful for the passive sometimes, and in case you want to respec your skills into a different role, which we will talk about later, then the other 2 slots on the bar should be the weapon skills that you need to level. That way, your weapons will get leveled as well. Now, if you put more than 1 skill of a tree on a bar, it will level the overall skill tree faster than a skill with only 1 on the bar. And again, if you want to have multiple skills of 1 skill on your bar, that's fine. This is just a general suggestion to leveling all your lines pretty fairly and at the same rate. Also, remember to add any fighter's guild or mage's guild or any other sort of utility skills that you need that is part of your build on your bar as well in like the remaining spots. You'll have to kind of play around with that, but again, make sure to add those so you don't, have those at level 1 when you get to level 50. So now we're going to talk about leveling to 50 effectively and the methods involved. So now we are at the point where you're like, I have all my buffs, I have my skill set up. How should I level at them and where should I level? So first off, let me say that the leveling helper on the left here is very helpful. It will give you items and consumables like experience scrolls, along with mount speed lessons and various other things. A few things I want to suggest to you before you start your great journey in ESO is 1, make sure to always upgrade mounting every day. Go to the stable and take the 2 seconds to do this. Upgrade speed first. This will help you get around quicker and quest faster. 2, get your assault tree up in PvP to where you get rapid maneuver. It's the first skill. You can do this by playing a few random battlegrounds. It will take you no longer than 30 minutes. This will help you move faster, and it's great again for getting around and questing. These are some things that will make quality of life better, what I just mentioned. But now let's talk about how you should level. Well, leveling again is up to you. There is no wrong or right way to level. However, if this is the first time you've played ESO, I highly recommend on your first character to take your time leveling. That means enjoy the quests. These quests aren't tons of fetch quests like in other MMOs. It's not like World of Warcraft. Okay, World of Warcraft has a lot of fetch quests, but it has some good quests as well. But this MMO has actual really good quests, and it has good quest lines that you might be interested in. So I definitely recommend taking your time. Run through all of your Alliance Zone quests. Complete the lines there. Complete side quests. If you have the DLC, do DLC quest lines. This is what I did through about 350 CP or champion points on my main character, and it was very enjoyable. If you don't do this and try to power to level 50, you aren't going to learn as much about your class and what your skills do. You might also miss something that you might really like with the skill if you don't take your time with it. So if you're new, take your time and quest and level to your pace. This method will get you to 50 in probably about 25 to however many hours you want it to take. But also, I want to mention that if you want to try out skills on your way to 50, but then you don't like them when you hit 50, you will get respec attribute scrolls and skill respec scrolls from the level up helper we just mentioned every time you level up a character. What these do is they will allow you to reset your skills and your health, magic, and stamina for free, because after that, you're going to have to pay money for that or pay crowns for that. So this gives room for you to experiment. So experiment. If you want to go beyond the bounds of what a guide is telling you or a build guide is telling you, experiment on skills that you like, because again, you can respec them eventually for free at least one time. So definitely try out things. See if you like the class. If you're playing Nightblade and you find out you just don't like Nightblade, then make another character and try another one out. But I would definitely take your time if this is your first character, because if you don't, you're going to miss out on a lot of things in the game that make this game so great, in my opinion. So if you aren't new and you are looking to level fast to 50 on an alt character, or you just want to get to 50, here are some tips to leveling effectively that can make you level to 50 faster. If you are new, you can still do these things, and you should be. I'm just generalizing for everyone here watching. So one thing is making sure to do your daily dungeon each day. When you hit level 10, you can queue up for this, and this will give you a huge bonus of experience for your first one done that day. Also, make sure to do your daily battlegrounds. Something I mentioned earlier, that this will also give you a daily bonus of experience if you get first or second place out of 3 teams, which isn't too hard unless you're me and my friend and you get a team of 3 every time, which is really frustrating. So I hope they can fix that, but most of the time you should be able to get first or second on a team. It's not too bad. Now, paired with that, make sure to have any scrolls for experience active and skills on your bar leveled when you finish the activity, because that will add to the bonus of experience that you get. So if you have a 50% experience scroll active and your daily bonus for your dungeon is, say, 20k or 20,000 experience, then you will get 30,000 experience or 30k experience instead. Also, another thing is make sure you do your crafting writs each day. These will give easy experience and they will add up over time, so make sure you do those. Now that you did those activities when you logged on, what are good methods to leveling outside of those? Now, I'm not going to be able to cover everywhere in this guide. Plus, I won't be covering places that require a lot of CP to effectively level at. I feel like that's kind of pointless because we were leveling to 50. Again, if you can be questing or leveling with another player, this will help tremendously with you leveling, just because you won't die as much, but also because you get that buff of experience we talked about, and again, you won't have to use as much resources by sustain and everything like that. But with that said, I'm going to go into methods that are solo friendly first, and then move to other methods that are preferred to do duo, but they can still be done solo. You just need to know what you're doing a little bit. First method, and everyone that has played this game probably knows this already, is the Allocation Dolmen grind. This is the fastest dolmen grind in the game because of how close the dolmens are to the way shrines. If you travel to Allocation or travel to a guild member or a friend that's in Allocation, just type in the chat X, Y, or Z, and you will usually automatically be invited for a group that's running it. All you do is run in a triangle to each one and rinse and repeat until your fingers fall off. This is also another great way to level Fighters Guild, but make sure to start the Fighters Guild quest before doing them or you will not get the Fighters Guild experience. This is a very easy way to get to 50 with little or no effort. Again, with this, put the skill bar with the skills you want leveled active when the dolmen completes, so you get those skills leveled. The other dolmen zone that's not too bad is Aradon. Something to note too is the first time you complete a dolmen, you will get an additional bonus experience on top of the original value for completing it. So if you go to a new zone and you haven't completed the 3 dolmens there yet, all of them are going to give you a bonus experience boost or value on top of the completion bonus, which is really, really nice. Being solo, another thing you can do is queue for battlegrounds and dungeons while questing. These are things you can have going on while you quest, and even if you aren't getting your bonus experience for the first one each day after the first one, they do give great experience for you. That's something to do. Like I said, if you're a tank or a healer, you can almost get in a dungeon automatically. If you're a DPS, it's going to take a little bit of time, but you can also type in your guild chat, in the zone chat. All you got to say is like looking for a group to just run a random normal, and people will do it. And you can run some of these dungeons very quickly, and they'll give you a good bit of experience. So just keep that in mind and keep doing that if that's a way you want to do it, because that will help you level so much. And it's kind of fun learning the dungeons, because if you're a new player, or even if you're not a new player, you can learn mechanics of certain dungeons that way, and it's nice to know. Now let's move on to the more preferred duo grinding places or leveling methods. Again, I want to say that these methods can be done solo, but it is more efficient and a little easier to survive if you have a partner while doing this. Again, if you want to level, just hit me up in game. I am at King Bra and I will level with you. Or join a massive PvE or new player guild. There will be plenty of people you can level with. Also, the ESO Discord is another great area to check for people that want to play together. Also, type in chat as well. Don't be afraid. You can do it. Type in the chat. The first duo preferred method is public dungeons. These have lots of mobs of enemies that are able to respawn and that you can just loop over and over again, as well as bosses to loot for. Also, a tip with these are if you complete the group event boss in each public dungeon, it will always give you a skill point. So if you're needing skill points on your alternate characters, make sure to run those and you can get some there. And if I had to suggest any public dungeons, I would suggest the base zone public dungeons first, because they are typically easier. So that's Aradon, that's Stone Falls, and the Daggerfall Covenant starting zone. Also, if you have DLC, the Rimmon Necropolis in Elsewhere is great for grinding. There are always people there, and there is a great loop there. Also, another great public dungeon, if you have DLC, is the Hrothgar public dungeon, Old Orsinium. You have to progress through enough of the dungeon quest to get to this point on the map, and then you just run a loop and rinse and repeat. The second way of leveling is by zombie or undead farming. These are typically the monsters of choice to grind because they have low hit points and they don't hit hard. You can usually handle a mob by yourself. The main thing is, can you sustain long enough to kill mass amounts of them? That means, again, sustain is having enough magicka and stamina to do your abilities. There are a few locations that are good for this. I have locations up on the screen here. These are locations that people go to grind these zombies and undead. Follow the loops and the paths I have marked and rinse and repeat. Something I want to mention though about these zombie locations. A lot of times they're going to be very crowded because tons of people know about these. So if you go there, it depends on the time of day, depends on the server, depends on the platform of what you're playing the game on. You have to keep that in mind because they will be crowded. So I'm going to show you a few locations that some people might not know about that are pretty good in my opinion. So this place I'm going to show you is a place that my friend in my stream, Stumbling Warthog, showed me. Thanks again, Stumbling. That is usually never crowded or no one thinks about. And that is an area up here in Deshawn. You have to start this quest up here in the top left of the map. But the reason this place is so good and not too crowded is because it's instanced, sort of, and these zombies aren't here if you complete the quest. So a lot of people don't think about areas like this, but look out for areas that are instanced. That means they're just there for you, or they're, instance in general means like, they're going to be there for a short time unless you complete the quest, basically. But instanced in a literal term means that it is only there and you can only see it for yourself. Like it'll teleport you somewhere and you can only go there. You won't see other people. But this area is only there while you're doing the quest, technically. So other people can come in, but a lot of people don't go there and don't think about that because they just complete the quest. But this is a great area because you can just run this loop and you can rinse and repeat and just not complete that quest. So that is something you guys can try out. I've done it with my friend, and it's just a great area. And again, it's not that crowded compared to these other zombie places and undead places. You can actually do this for a good bit without someone coming in and crashing the grind. The third location I want to show you is actually in Cyrodiil. I have not seen a ton of people here at all, but this is another one that my friend showed me, not stumbling, but a friend, an old friend from back in the day, Chronomajin, from when I used to play ESO a little bit on PlayStation 4. This one's in Cyrodiil, and this requires you to be in the Aldemary Dominion. It doesn't necessarily require, but if you're in the Aldemary Dominion, it is a lot easier because you can just run to this a lot quicker. You don't have to go through the whole map if you're in the other zones. Now you can be like any alliance, I think, with like a certain token or whatever, but I just want to mention that. So it's easier if you're in the Aldemary Dominion, and if you are having another person with you, it does help, but you can do this solo, like I said. This is the Bloodmane Delve, and for some reason, on my map, you can't see it. I've completed it, but I guess it doesn't show up when you complete it, but it's still there. But you basically just loop all these beetles and rinse and repeat, and this will get you a ton of beetle scuttle, which will sell for a decent amount at guild traders too. If you have a craft bag, you can just keep endlessly putting them in there. But this is a great area. You barely see people here, and you can get a lot of experience, especially if you stack this with Mythic, Ethereal, Ambrosia. It's insane. Like, me and my friend Chronomajin have, like, you can do this at CP. It's actually like better in my opinion, CP, because you can just sustain for longer. But if you have another person here, you can stay here for a long time. It's a great place to train. And obviously, the last method that you can always do is questing. I mentioned that before. This will eventually get you to level 50, and you won't be rushing to get there, and it's a lot more chill, as you could say. Now, one area I didn't mention was the Imperial City sewers. That being because it is always so crowded and you will die a lot. So in my opinion, it's almost pointless to go there sometimes because you could just be leveling somewhere else. Now, that's not me saying that because, I level there. I don't really level there at all. It's so hard to stay there, in my opinion. I feel like you die a lot. So you might as well just spend your time somewhere else, and you'll end up getting experience quick that way too. Lastly, the final thing I want to go over is allotting skill points. So again, you will be getting a good bit of these just from going from 1 to 50. These will cover most skills and passes by the time you reach 50, but if you aren't careful, you can put points into things that you don't necessarily need yet. Again, you can always respect that, but I just want to warn you about that. So if this is your first character and you want to put points into crafting and utility skills that don't pertain to your build, that's totally fine. But some things to focus on with being a new player or even someone making an alternate character is focusing mainly on skills in your class tree, in your class skill trees, and weapon trees that you'll be using. Don't put too many points into passives until you reach about 35 to 40 plus. You really don't need points into your passives until you get to 50. It's helpful at 40, but not necessary. Make sure to prioritize your skills first, because if you don't, then you can't level a particular skill. Now, if you're making an alt character, the only difference here is don't put any points into crafting at first, because you want to save your points for your skills. Unless your alt is a crafting only alt. Otherwise, yes, put points in there. Now, some things that can help you get more skill points if you're running out are, again, killing the group boss in all public dungeons will grant you 1 point per dungeon, which is great. Running around and getting sky shards using the sky shards add-on on PC if you have it. Buying sky shards in the crown store. If you have all the sky shards on one account or one character in a zone, you can buy it for another character or other characters. And just questing in general. Questing will give loads of skill points. It's insane, especially the zone quests. So like Aradon, all those Stonefalls, just all those zone quests, specific quests, those will give skill points. But yeah, those are the tips that can help you decide where to put your skill points into and how to get more skill points for your character. But all in all, you will find that if this is your first character to 50, you will have a more enjoyable experience questing and playing the game. If you're looking for fast grinding experience, then some of these methods I mentioned will help you grind to 50 in about 10 to 18 hours of gameplay. And yes, it can be done quicker than that, but you have to have a lot of gold, laser focus, and know exactly what you're doing and being very efficient. You need to know that the grind to 1 to 50 without doing quests can get boring, so you may need to switch up your spots some. I have to do that frequently because it's boring just going around the same area for hours on end. You will find out a lot of people just grind Allocure Dolmens because a lot of these spots are always so full, so they just do that instead. But I'll leave that up to you guys. But now I hope that I've given some of you some useful tips on how to level to 50 effectively and how to utilize your skills while doing it in a few places and methods to farm. I hope that it will make it a better experience for you in general, and I hope that you're able to have learned something from this so you can know more about this as you level. Again, if you want to join my guild, let me know in the comments. If you want a specific guide on something, let me know in the comments and I can try to work on one. And if you want to watch me live, I'm live at twitch.tv/BrawWeGotThis on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. I start anywhere between 7 and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But until next time, guys, just remember to have faith, be great, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Later.